Namaste. There are many negative people, negative men and negative women, who continue to hurt you by posting negative comments. And since today's life is very much connected with social media, it may happen that certain negative, cheap, offensive people may try to hurt you by posting negative comments or may try to do n number things. How to deal with this kind of negative, cheap people? The first thing is never react. Because if you react, you become a victim of this vicious circle. Never react, ignore. The second step, to block them forever. Blocking means they are dead. That's exactly what I do. Because I want only positive, good heart people. And obviously it's a vast world. There are n number of negative, cheap, offensive people. And you should not engage with them by reacting. You should directly block them. Even on this YouTube channel, whenever some negative comment comes, I don't delete it first. I first block that person. And I also report that person. You can also report to the government. We have that provision under cyber law. So these are the things that you can do. Never get engaged, because all these men and women are very cheap, offensive, and this has nothing to do with money. They may have millions of dollars, but that doesn't make them a wise person, a understanding person, a gentle person. So these kind of people are always there. Always. I am very particular because I want to have a community which is positive and good heart, which has a certain depth of understanding. So I am very selective. I immediately take action. You also should do the same. Never ever entertain a negative, cheap, offensive person. There are millions and millions of men and women. On this YouTube channel, they may just type something because they have so much of poison. Whenever they type, they will only let that poison come out. You should not take that poison. You should simply delete and block them and report them to wheresoever you want to. In this podcast, I have talked specifically on dealing with these negative people and also many more insights. So let's begin. Negative people are all over this world. In fact, on the virtual platform such as YouTube, Quora, LinkedIn, or Facebook, there are millions of negative people who are just waiting to comment negatively, and through their comments, they want to hurt others. It is this hurting others that gives them pleasure. That is how they are, utterly negative, cheap people. In fact, even on my YouTube channel, you will see one or two specific person just disliking my videos for the sake of it or commenting negatively. They find happiness, and that is how they live their whole life, by hurting others, by causing harm to others, by trying to ridicule others. This is how they live their whole life. Their whole energy is wasted in focusing on others, criticizing others. And then, when life starts becoming very hard, then they wonder why they are in so much trouble. The most common question that comes often to me and is asked by many is how to deal with this kind of cheap negative people. And my answer is very simple. My answer is just remain unavailable and never react. Because the more you react, the moment you react, you are trapped in their vicious circle. And that is exactly what they want. And so never react to negative, sick, cheap people and their comments. Always remember, when an elephant walks in the market, there are always some dogs who will keep barking because they are disturbed within. The elephant has absolutely nothing to do. He is walking in his own bliss. It is their own disturbance that makes them feel insecure, restless, and then they start barking, hating, and doing all sorts of negative acts that ultimately bring them down, affecting their health and peace within. Such negative men and women suffer from many miseries. Black magic spells work on them much faster than the rest. And it is a very simple logic. The more you are negative within, the more you will attract negative energies such as black magic spells. In fact, it becomes easy for a black magician to target a negative person, because by being negative, half of the black magician's job is already done. So, whenever people post negative comments or they comment to hurt you or try to cause harm to you, don't get distracted. Just laugh. Just laugh on their ignorance. And that is what God also does. Whenever anybody causes trouble to you, try to demotivate you, try to ridicule you, always remember God is watching and God is laughing on them. Because whosoever is doing this dirty game from behind the curtains is being watched closely by God. And God just waits and waits and waits, just the way Lord Krishna goes on waiting and waiting until Shishupal's quota of sin is full. And then Krishna kills him with his Sudarshan Chakra. That is exactly what happens with these negative cheap men and cheap women. All you should do is to remain calm and not react, because the moment you react to their comments and to their negative acts, you caught up in their trap. So never react, just remain calm. Sometimes I think that now I should take leave from all these social media platforms. And I'm sure many of you must have had thought by being fed up of the negative people on social forums. But then the compassionate master always says that even though there are utterly negative people on social forums, still we must not forget that there are also many positive, God-loving, insightful seekers on the same social forums. Just because of a few jealous, negative, rubbish people, we should not miss the true seekers. This human world is a mixture of salt and sugar. Salt is more, sugar is less. And our focus should be on finding the sugar, the positive men and positive women, and ignore the salt, utterly cheap, shallow people. Our whole focus should be on positive, real good fellows. A time will come when I will be no more on this forum or any social forums. But till then, the journey continues, and only those few can join me who can truly understand the deeper aspects of human life. You pull yourself into problems when you start reacting. Mohan once asked why people are quick to react. The answer is in one word: mind. When your mind is fast, you will always react. When your mind is slow, you will not react, instead, you will respond. When your mind is still, you will not react, and neither will you respond, you will stay silent. Meher Baba says, a mind that is fast is sick. A mind that is slow is sound, and a mind that is still is divine. Avatar Meher Baba, the man who transformed many madmen into enlightened beings. And he traveled all over the world, and he did such a miraculous job. I prostrate before His Holiness Avatar Meher Baba. Our whole focus must be on reaching the stage where our mind remains still. To a mind that is still, the whole universe is available. To still the mind, the only way is to start meditating. And to get ready for meditation, you all should also start reading the holy scriptures of your faith. Today is Saturday, and that reminds me of Hanuman Chalisa, a beautiful, powerful stotra written by one of the greatest saint, Saint Tulsidas. Neem Karoli Baba says, every line of Hanuman Chalisa is a Maha Mantra. Neem Karoli Baba was himself the avatar of Lord Hanuman, and he spent his whole life in helping people realize the significance of reciting the Hanuman Chalisa. But who wants to listen? But those who listen, those who start implementing what they have learned, start transforming into a beautiful person. In a million, one beautiful person is born, because believers are many and seekers are few. And Buddha wants seekers, because only a seeker can dare to jump within. Only a seeker will say, show me how to meditate, while a believer will just keep asking questions that has only curiosity to it and nothing else. A believer will ask, does God exist? He is just curious, just wants to have a chit chat. But a seeker is a totally different phenomenon. A seeker will ask, show me how to experience God. I want to experience God. That is the difference between a believer and a seeker. The master is always in search of a seeker, a real seeker. And remember, a seeker is not a student but a disciple. Because a student cannot wait, a student is not patient, he is simply interested to gather knowledge. A disciple can wait. A disciple has immense patience. He can go on waiting and waiting and waiting, and in this waiting itself, he goes on transforming, because the more he waits for the Guru, the more love is born within his whole being. And then a time comes when at the most unexpected moment, the Guru appears before him. And then there is no looking back. Then the initiation happens. Then the oneness. Then there is no sense of duality. Then there is no master and no disciple. The master becomes one with the disciple. How to express such oneness? Language has limits, and expressing is not possible in words. Everything is possible only if you are willing to change, only if you are willing to drop your head and follow your heart. Kabir always used to say, "Follow me only if you are willing to put your house on fire. Become my disciple only if you are willing to cut your head." Logic is your head, love is your heart. Kabir is not interested in your head, Kabir is interested in your heart. And that is how God works. God is not interested in your logic and your university degrees and your intellectualism. God is simply interested in your heart. If you are a man of heart, if you are a woman of heart, then no matter where you are and in what situation you are, God will come in search of you. Once Ananda asked Buddha, "Master, how you plan your journey?" And Buddha said, "Ananda, I never plan anything. My legs simply start moving towards those men and women who are thirsty for my words, for my love." And that is the whole essence of life. You don't have to go to the Himalayas. The Himalayas will come wherever you are, only if there is a longing, a deep thirst to experience God, to experience the beyond. And so, always focus within and not on the negative people in your life. Focus on your friends and not on your enemies. Remember, you all have enemies just as I have my own enemies. And our enemies are either secret enemies or open enemies. But we all have enemies. We have to accept this fact. And so, instead of focusing on our enemies, we should focus on our friends. And tell me, who can be your good friend than the Divine Master? Krishna was first a good friend and then the Guru of Arjuna. In Ganesh Shloka, there is a verse in which we say, "Tvameva Mata Sakha Tvameva," meaning, "O Lord Ganesha, you are my mother and you are my friend." So come you all and start walking with God, because there is no other friend that can be a true friend, a true guide than God Himself. God sends His messengers and the messengers share His messages. The more you resonate with the messages of God, the more you come closer to that divine God experience. Our whole focus should be on fine-tuning our antenna so that we keep receiving the divine messages of God and continue to experience the growth within. The more you meditate with devotion and faith, the more your antenna strengthens. Stay focused within and meditate every day. And when you meditate, always remember you are not alone. God is with you. Stay tuned with God. Jai Sri Ganesha. Jai Guru. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.